Graph y equals the opposite of x squared plus x plus 5. Label the ordered pairs for the vertex and the y-intercept. Let's start by finding the y-intercept. That occurs when x is 0, and so it turns out to be one of the easier points to find. We let x be 0, and we have the opposite of 0 squared plus 0 plus 5, so y is 5. That gives us 1 point on the graph. Now let's find the ordered pair for the vertex. We will use the formula x equals the opposite of b over 2a. And from the equation we can see that a equals -1 and b equals 1. Therefore, the opposite of b over 2a is the opposite of 1 over 2 times -1, which is the opposite of 1 over -2, which would be positive 1/2. That gives us the x-coordinate of the vertex, and now we need to find the y-coordinate. Well, y, we know, is the opposite of x squared, so the opposite of 1/2 squared plus 1/2 plus 5, which is the opposite of 1/4, and I'm going to write the 1/2 as 2/4, so I have a common denominator, and 5 as 20/4. Then -1/4 plus 2/4 is 1/4. 1/4 plus 20/4 is 21/4. And this gives us the coordinates of the vertex. Now we found these two ordered pairs. We need to find a few more points on the graph before we sketch the graph. We'll copy down the 2 points that we have, and our equation is y equals the opposite of x squared plus x plus 5. So let's let x be -2. When we substitute -2 for x, we find that y is -1. When we substitute -1 for x, we find that y is 3. Let's get a couple more points. When we substitute 2 for x, we find that y is 3. When we substitute 3 for x, we find that y is -1. And this gives us a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. I think that'll be enough to get the idea of the shape of the graph. We'll plot the vertex 1/2, 21/4. 21/4 is 5 1/4, so we go to 1/4 and a little above 5, mark that, and go ahead and label the vertex since we're supposed to label the vertex. The next point's the y-intercept, 0, 5, and we'll label that as well since we're supposed to label the y-intercept. Now the other points we'll just plot -2, -1, -1, 3, 2, 3, 3, -1, and we'll sketch the graph then. And again, it's a parabola that opens down, and we have enough points to give us a good idea of the shape of the graph. Finally, we label the graph with the equation y equals the opposite of x squared plus x plus 5.